As they say, one good thing usually leads to another. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel. Welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast number 354, number one for the year 2005. Happy New Year to everyone. This is the one about absorbing what is useful, a tenet of depth and not mere collection. As you're logging in, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. If you're catching the simulcast over on the YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell over there as well. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share this video and spread the word about the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcasts. So, absorb what is useful. Now, everybody knows the phrase is frequently attributed to Bruce Lee, but let me set the record straight once again. Bruce Lee never actually said it. And some would say then that therefore a more accurate quote, and this is why I said one good thing leads to another, is because we talked about this last week. A more accurate quote would be, I no longer believe in styles. And the reason why I say this is because there's a crucial difference. Since absorb what is useful is often misinterpreted by both sides of the Jeet Kune Do coin. And what I mean by that is that both sides, there are people from either side who think that absorb what is useful is about collecting techniques. But Jeet Kune Do has never been about collecting techniques. It's not about breadth. It's about width, right? Not breadth, depth, right? Get your act together, Dwight. So let's clear up that distinction, right? Absorbing versus collecting. A collector of techniques might learn dozens of flashy moves, the proverbial possibilities. And then when it's time to use them, it's possible that they fall apart. And that's because they lack understanding and they lack application. So it's somewhat similar to having a toolbox full of tools that you don't know how to use. Now, absorption, that's a whole different ballgame. Absorption is intentional. It is about understanding. It is about testing, so to speak. It's about refining technique until the techniques become, I'll use a catchphrase, a natural extension of your body. So it's not how much you know, which is the breadth. It is how deeply you know it. So here's an example. Wing Chun trapping. So a collector might go out in search of every variation of the Pak Sao and the Lap Sao. And they'll practice them, but they'll never practice them, I'll use another catchphrase, under pressure. So, in fact, forget under pressure, right? They'll never even look at trapping as, they'll just collect the techniques, the variations, the possibilities, but they won't investigate it. How do I use trapping as an attack? How do I use trapping as a counterattack? How do I use trapping as an entry? How do I use trapping as a follow-up? So they're collecting the techniques without ever analyzing the techniques to see where in the continuum, the fight continuum, they occur, where they evolve. And that's why they never get a deep appreciation of the trapping techniques. Now, an absorber, it's a word. An absorber, on the other hand, will do all of that I just talked about, analyzing it, where in the stages of combat this trapping stuff will occur, and will likely come up with a few key techniques. And he'll do it over and over again, stripping away that, the hacking away, the daily hacking away, until he can use them instinctively under pressure in a fight, whatever. right? So that's the difference. The collector learns the moves, the absorber learns mastery. So how do we ensure that we're absorbing and not collecting? Okay, so this is the first thing you got to do. You know how Bruce Lee talks about honestly expressing oneself? You got to take an honest look at your skill level and see where there are gaps in your skill level. So you might be good at striking, but then you struggle with grappling, or you might be able to hit pretty well, but you're flat on your feet. You have no mobility, right? So here's a hypothetical. So you realize that you have difficulty managing distance against aggressive opponents. So that's where you look into something like, okay, well, how can I use something like the low line oblique kick? So after the assessment, now you know what you need to do. So this is where you got to research, right? Thoughtfully. So once you know what you need to do, then you start doing your homework, and you have to be selective when you do this homework. So you look for systems or styles, whatever you want to call it, right? That excel in that area that you want to improve. So if you're looking at that low line oblique kick, you might look into how Boxe Française handles it, Wing Chun, or any other system that you know uses that kick, because you can find it in Filipino Pangamut, you can find it in Pencak Silat, all that stuff, right? So that's what you do. You go looking in search, but you don't necessarily go looking in search for the moves, right? You go looking for the principles, the common principles that you might find in all those systems. All right, so now let's say you found them. So now we're at step 3. So now, again, the catchphrase, you have to test them under pressure. Okay, so this is the fun part, right? Because you don't practice it just in isolation. You have to get to the point where you can actually apply the techniques, whatever it is that you're working on. So you learn to apply it in sparring or in what I call live drilling. And that's where you find out if it really works. So you might start out and find that your timing is off. So then you have to keep working at that. And then through trial and error, you will end up refining that thing. So testing under pressure is how did I put it? Is how theory becomes skill. Okay. All right. So step 4 is, so some people call this discard what fails, right? Which is, as we know it, is reject what is useless. But discard what fails actually might be a more accurate description of what we're doing, because not everything that you try is going to work for you. Okay. And that's fine. So you let go of what doesn't serve you. Um, I can remember a time when actually we were talking about it earlier today in TCF. We were talking about the old kung fu films, and I was as big a fan as anybody else of Huang Zhangli, the Silver Fox. I mean, that guy can kick up a storm, and so I was a big fan of the spinning back kick, and it looked good in demonstration or what have you, but in sparring, it was a little bit too risky, right, for me. So instead of clinging to it, I kind of moved on, right? Okay. Step 5, the last step. You integrate what succeeds, aka add what is specifically your own. So when something works for you, you own it, you make it yours, you customize it to fit your attributes, to fit your height, your reach, your whole fighting style. And but don't stop it just like the basic level of it. You work it and work it and work it inside out so that it becomes not even what they call second nature. I like to call that first nature. It becomes your instinct, right? So the big takeaway, absorbing what is useful is not about collecting as many techniques as possible. So if you go to seminars on a regular basis and you're served up plates heaping full of techniques, do not think that that's where it's at. It is not about collecting as many techniques as possible. It is about diving deep into what works for you. And this is not just a martial art principle, this is a life principle as well. Let go of what doesn't serve you and embrace that which helps you to grow, which I think is quite apropos at the beginning of the year. So my challenge, if this resonates with you this week, pick an area of your training where you might feel stuck or whatever, right? And use the 5 steps. Now, I know there's 4 tenets of Jeet Kune Do, and we talked about 5 steps. See, it's because everybody usually starts at absorb what is useful. They forget that that's number 2. Number 1 is research your own experience. But even before that, right, if you look at the sign, it says the truth in combat is different for every individual in this style. So that's the assessment part. You see, so then we start at 4, at 1, 2, 3, 4. Research, absorb, aka test, right? Discard, aka reject, and add, aka integrate, or the other way around, right? Integrate, aka add. But go through that. If you care to share it with me, let me know what it is that you have resolved that you need to work on, and we can discuss your plans for working on it. Right? Okay. So just keep that in mind, because simplicity, having a simple plan, is the key to brilliance. So you keep training, you keep learning, you keep growing. Right? So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. That's all I am going to say in this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. Oh, and by now, you may have received a request from me inviting you to like or follow me on the Facebook page of JKD Drills. So this is the new website that I'm working on. So if you haven't gotten an invitation, it's because Facebook only allows me to send a certain number of invitations every day. So, but if we're Facebook friends, you'll probably get one, but you don't have to wait until that. Just go to the JKD Drills page on Facebook. And what else should I tell you? Oh, well, I got to remind you, Titans of Jeet Kune Do, February 1st and 2nd. Go to titansofjkd.com. All the information is there. 3 days ago, the price was supposed to go up from $229 to $239, but you know, it's the holiday season. I've been partying up a storm. No, I haven't. Right, but I haven't changed that yet. But probably by Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, I will have, and that'll be the final price. It'll go up from $229 to $239. So if you want to save yourself $10, go to titansofjkd.com and register forthwith. Okay, at paypal.me/unifiedma Miami. PayPal.me/unifiedma Miami. You can get yourself a copy of the raw but edited Jeet Kune Do Journey Volume 1, paypal.me/unifiedma Miami. What else do I have for you? That is about it, right? I will go through the comments because I can't stay right now to do it. I should tell you today is a yellow day. How you like me now? Right? Okay, so you guys, Happy New Year to everyone. Next week, we will be back in full force, in full effect with issues of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast and episodes of the Jeet Kune Do Dialogue. So stay tuned, and we'll talk later. Okay, have a great weekend, guys. The temperature is starting to drop here in Miami. We will be freezing. It'll be in the 50s. All right, so you guys take care, and we'll talk soon. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. All right, see you later. Bye.